They only manipulate those still craving affection. The second you sever the urge to be accepted, you transform from their puppet to their problem. You no longer speak for applause, move for attention, or compromise for comfort. You move with quiet certainty. You act without permission. You become unreadable, untouchable, and in a world obsessed with emotional leverage, the person who doesn't need validation becomes the most powerful variable in the room. People prefer you polite, pliable, agreeable. It's how they get leverage. They program you early. Smile to avoid discomfort. Nod even when your gut screams no. Agree before you've even considered. They reward submission with praise. They mistake silence for maturity when really, it's compliance they admire. But that isn't growth. It's grooming. And once you unlearn the pattern, your refusal frightens them. You've become unpredictable, and unpredictability is the beginning of power. The truth is, Niccolo Machiavelli never wrote a manual on likability. He wrote one on command. The foundation of command, immunity to disapproval. The willingness to let others be disappointed, confused, even angry. Because the moment they know their reactions sway you, they'll use those reactions as weapons. Shame, guilt, withdrawal. But when you stop reacting, when their emotions lose influence, you become unshakable. You stop chasing comfort and begin generating gravity. People rotate around those who no longer revolve around anyone. Neediness breeds predictability. Indifference breeds strength. Because if you don't require applause, you don't need to perform. If you don't crave inclusion, you don't compromise. And when your emotional compass is internal, the entire room aligns with your direction. Your strength isn't rebellion, it's restraint. The power to say no without explanation. To leave without dramatic exits. To remain centered when everyone else scrambles for approval. Most people are tethered by invisible chains, made of forced smiles and reflexive apologies. You cut the leash and never look back. You were never designed to be domesticated. And yes, they'll call you detached, unkind, difficult. That's what people say when they can't bend you, when they can't use kindness as a collar. But clarity is not cruelty. You don't harm, you refuse to be handled. You don't attack, you simply remove yourself. You don't react, you stay still. And that stillness, that controlled silence, it terrifies them because they can't get to you anymore. The tactics don't work. The comments lose their sting. The guilt slides off. Because now they finally see they never controlled you. They controlled your need to be liked. And now that need is gone. You owe them nothing. Not comfort, not closure. You owe yourself one thing, freedom. Freedom from performing for invisible judges. Freedom from defending decisions that don't need a jury. Freedom from offering your energy to those who wouldn't suffer for you. When you bury the need to be liked, you begin to live in alignment with your truth, your dignity, your mission. And this leads to the second transformation. You become unreadable. They can't decipher what motivates you, because what motivates you no longer includes them. They study your silence, your timing, your gaze, searching for a signal. But you've stopped broadcasting. The gates are closed. And when they can't predict you, they can't control you. In their world, predictability is power, and you've proven you're beyond their reach. Machiavelli understood this. Control perception and you control power. And nothing alters perception more than disciplined silence. When you stop explaining, people begin assuming. When you stop playing, they begin guessing. That guessing becomes fascination. That fascination becomes fear. You haven't changed. You've just stopped translating your soul into their language. You no longer teach them how to handle you. You let them fumble, and in that fumbling you become legend. The desire to please is a soft form of dependence. It grants others access to your self-worth. A raised eyebrow breaks you. A delayed reply leaves you spiraling. You've taught them to push your buttons because you've handed them the panel. But not anymore. Now your indifference is your protection. Not by being numb, but by being selective. Your energy is earned. Your presence is rare. Your words are measured. And that's scarcity. That is power. They begin to approach you like a riddle. You are now part myth, part mirror. You reflect back to them their cravings, and it haunts them. You no longer audition for their approval. You write the script now, and in your story, manipulation dies early. Disrespect burns fast. Weakness gets cut at the root. You don't threaten. You don't announce. You disappear, and your silence says everything. They don't know how to interact with someone they can't predict. So they freeze. You've trained the room by simply being different. People lean in, not because you're loud, but because you speak less. Your words are weighted. Your yes is now an event, not a habit. Your no is a boundary, not a debate. Guilt is a leash. You've stopped wearing it. They'll attempt shame, exclusion. You've changed, but you won't flinch, because your emotional economy is no longer outsourced. You've reconciled with yourself, and that inner reconciliation makes external judgment irrelevant. Now, you move like a strategist, generous on purpose, unavailable by design, untouchable by instinct. Your emotions aren't outbursts, they're instruments. You offer warmth without becoming an open flame. You give grace without becoming a gateway. They'll test you, they always do, but you won't explain. You'll let them misunderstand. You'll let them retreat, because if their love was based on your obedience, their love was never real. Your absence becomes your message. Your silence becomes your power. You don't argue for your value. You embody it. Now the game is reversed. You're no longer begging for access. You are access. You've become a standard they must rise to meet. And many won't. Let them go. That's not a loss. That's a filter. The undeserving remove themselves. The genuine stay. Because once you kill the need to be liked, the right ones find you. The ones who respect autonomy, who cherish strength, who don't need to dim you to feel bright. Machiavelli wrote that people forget kindness quickly, but remember strength forever. People love convenience but respect consistency. You didn't become distant. You became disciplined. You are now a symbol. Whispered about, misunderstood, respected from afar. Not because of arrogance, but because your soul no longer comes with a price tag. You're not a game to be played. You're a mystery to be honored. And that mystery, that's your legacy. You didn't abandon connection. You just stopped begging for it. Your love is now a vault, and most will never even find the lock. Because you finally realized, in a world that trades truth for popularity, the most powerful thing you can be is untouchable. And in that untouchability, you found your crown.